Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our September third week IPOs edition. Today we'll be discussing 5 IPOs. थोड़ा सा light week है क्योंकि इतने ज़्यादा IPOs नहीं है because this week is due to Shraddhs etc. But still there are quite a few good IPOs. So let's talk about them. We'll probably start with we have two Mainboard IPOs to cover, VMS TMT and Pratik, and then we have three SMEs to cover, Sampat Aluminium, Techdefence and Airfloa. So we'll probably start with Sampat Aluminium and then go as in how we want to go forward. Just a couple of disclaimers before we actually get started. One, we are not SEBI registered. Our opinion is not qualified opinion. Please आप अपना due diligence खुद से करें. Only think of it as this space as something which a few friends are discussing about their IPO strategy. This in no way is relevant to what would happen in the markets. None of our statements carry any meaning. This discussion is only and only for educational purpose. Please do not quote anything out of context. We don't know anything about the markets. It's just what we are planning to do. And again, I'm putting a slight few more disclaimers than usual, but it's important to understand that we also go wrong quite often. So in those cases, like we just try and predict basis what we feel about the company, but that can be right, that cannot be right. Please don't take it as qualified opinion. आप अपना research खुद से करें, आप अपना DRHP पढ़ें, due diligence करें, उसके basis पे decide करें. This opinion is just what we feel about our companies, etc. and how they will do. Second, if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, the link is in the pinned comments to join the YouTube channel. With that, let's just get started and probably start with Sampat Aluminium. Let me quickly set up Sampat Aluminium. The company is incorporated in 1999 and manufactures aluminium long products like wires, rods, using aluminium ingots, rods, wires and recycling scrap से एल्यूमिनियम बनाती है. कॉपर की मैंने कंपनियां देखी थी, ये मैं एल्यूमिनियम की प्रोबेबली पहली बार देख रहा हूँ जो लिस्ट हो रही है. मे बी कॉपर की 2-3-4 कंपनियां आई थी जो स्क्रैप से कॉपर बनाती है. दिस डज द सेम थिंग फॉर एल्यूमिनियम. दिस यूजेस प्रोसेस लाइक कंटिन्यूस कास्टिंग एंड होट रोलिंग. तो एक बार समझेंगे इस कंपनी के बारे में. बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ द आईपीओ, सेटिंग अप द आईपीओ इज 30 करोड़ आईपीओ, 30 करोड़ का आईपीओ है. मार्केट कैप 102 करोड़ है. सो 30% डाइल्यूशन है. FY25 के फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो कंपनी का रेवेन्यू 133 करोड़ था और पैट 7 करोड़ था. सो इट्स कमिंग एट लाइक 14.5, 15 पी ट्रेलिंग. एलएम की बात करूं तो एलएम मारवाड़ी चंद्रान है. उनका लास्ट इशू मोनिका था. उससे पहले दे आई थिंक दे डन काबरा एंड वन मोर. So with that, over to you, Sachin, to quickly talk about Sampat. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right. So I'll keep this one short. Nothing much to explain in this. So this Sampat Aluminium, they are a part of that larger Deora group from Gujarat, and that group has multiple other businesses as well: heavy engineering, power transmission, wires, etc. So this Sampat was established in 1999, almost 25 to 30 years back, and now only they have reached around 50 CR, 200 CR of turnover. Now coming to their business, as you already explained, they made aluminium rods of sizes from 7.5 millimeter to 20 millimeter, and they also make wires for 5.5 to 6.5 millimeter. So they use scrap material for this. They also use recycled aluminum for this, and they also use aluminum ingots for this. So variety of applications for these aluminum wires and rods is visible across the industries. They have a facility of around 8,400 metric tons per annum, and that is largely for both these aluminum rods and aluminum wires. And this facility is maintained and managed by only 26 employees. So only 26 employees are on payroll. For the utilization of this facility, we see that the utilization is fluctuating year on year. When the utilization fell to 70% for the rods from 85% earlier, and for the wires it fell to 45% from 80% earlier. So, and the combined utilization is now somewhere around 63 to 65%, which was around 80% plus in FY24 and in previous years from FY24. And now coming to the financials, in FY23 they did 131 CR of revenues, and the EBITDA was near 3%, 3 to 4%. In FY24, they did 148 CR of revenues with 7% EBITDA. Now in FY25, the revenues saw a decline to 133 CR, and they managed to improve the EBITDA slightly to 8%. and the PAT was 5%. Now this decline was largely due to they said that the volume of the products reduced because of their old machinery. So they could not do continuous production, and that is why the volume reduced and the revenues fell as well. Now they have gone one step further and gave financials for July 25 as well, where they have shown 52 CR of revenues, and now the EBITDA is higher, 10% EBITDA and 6.5% PAT. And now these higher margins are visible, especially in the IPO period. So you can make that of what you can make of that. So coming to the risk, they have around 20 crores of tax litigations ongoing. So if they materialize for a 100 CR market cap company, it looks quite high. Also, the reduction in volume of their business uh, before the IPO, and now there is sudden uptick in the IPO period. So that is something to note. Also, this business has been in less focus, given that the Eura Group has multiple other businesses as well, and now only it looks like it's starting to revive. Now coming to their IPO use, 23 CR is for new manufacturing facility, which will increase the existing capacity by four times from the current capacity, and that will be done by March 26, if all things go as planned. And the rest is for general corporate purposes. So this company had a pre-IPO in around May 24, which is at 100 rupees per share if you count for that bonus exercise that is done after the shares are received in pre-IPO. And that involved some HNIs, one compact structure fund, also one click logistics is visible in the pre-IPO list. And now the IPO is around 120 per share. So if we take the normal FY25 to FY24 margins, it's coming at around 15 to 16 times. So I do not see any shortage of peers in this segment, be it unlisted or listed segment. In RHP, this company has especially shown two extremes of the peers. One is trading at 13 times, and the another is at around 80 to 82 times. So you can make what you can make of that. Now for the lead manager, here is Marwani Chandrana. So they have some limited history. Monica was a recent issue for them. Anchor list is yet to come if it gets filled. So no clarity on that yet. So I could not find any interviews to assess why that dip in revenues was visible, or that was the margins why it decreased suddenly in FY25. And regarding the volumes, also who are the right peers for this business. So what I see is that this business does not have much entry barriers and seems less exciting at this stage. So I probably will skip personally. That's all.
Got it. थैंक यू सो मच सचिन. मेरे दो तीन क्वेश्चन वही थे कि पीयर कौन है, इंडस्ट्री कहाँ रहती है, बट यू कवर्ड दैट एज वेल. एंड एंट्री बैरियर्स भी लो हैं, तो देयर डजंट सीम लाइक अ लॉट टू डू, बट इट्स जस्ट दैट कि वो जो डे है ना, उस दिन कुछ है नहीं अप्लाई करने को यार. देयर इज नथिंग टू अप्लाई 19th, राइट? So because of which, if it gets fancy, तो हो सकता है कि भर जाए. So that is one
And
thing to keep in
GMP
mind.
GMP भी visible है तो भर तो जाएगा ही.
Got it. But yeah, I'll stay awake for sure. Now that I have more clarity from you. But that is me. You do you. And everyone can do what they want to do. With that, let me quickly move forward and talk about the second company. Second company जिसकी बात करेंगे वो है Airfloa. I know lots of people are interested in Airfloa Rail Tech. So, incorporated 1998, company is a key supplier to Indian Railways, manufacturing high precision components and 10 key interior furnishings for rolling stock. So, railways के components और chairs and furnishings वगैरह बनाते हैं. They also serve aerospace and defense sector, making components for projects like AMCA ground simulators and artillery tank bodies. So that is with respect to Airfloa. In terms of the IPO, it's a 91 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. 91 crore का IPO. Market cap 336 crores का है. So dilution is like close to again 27-28%. But from my understanding, pre-IPO ही काफी कुछ dilute हो चुका है. Maybe Rohit, when you are covering the company, you can touch on that part as well. FY25 के financials की बात करूं तो 193 crores का top line था and 25.5 crores का bottom line था. So it's coming pretty cheap, at least on like PE basis, right? It's coming at 13 PE, so 13, 14, whatever. So it seems like a compelling bet, which is also visible in the GMP. People can go and like look at it. Although everyone can do what they want to do, we do not subscribe to any GMP views as such. In terms of the LM is GYR Capital. So with that, over to you, Rohit, to talk about Airflow Rail Tech.
Thanks, Manish. So as you said, they are a rolling stock component manufacturer, so they don't actually make the bodies themselves. They make parts that go inside the coach or wagon body. But even within that, what they make are mainly interior. So they do things like chairs, seats, AC ducts, windows, doors, the luggage racks, roof and the paneling, toilets. So these are the things they do. They also make this for like different classes of trains. They do it for the Vande Bharat, they do it for metros, they do it for the Vista Dome coaches. They have delivered some orders in Sri Lanka and Mozambique for their respective trains as well. But broadly speaking, they supply the parts or they turnkey install all these parts inside the coach. So they either give the parts to, say, a Jupiter Wagons or a Titagar, who will then install it inside their coaches, or they also work, I understand, with the Indian Railways directly, where they go and turnkey install everything inside that coach. But yeah, broadly speaking, this is what they do. They're a component manufacturer. Apart from this, I'm sorry, just one more thing is they don't make the body, that is the coach or wagon or the structure, right? Or any of the moving parts, or I would say the truly critical components. They don't make any of those things. On the aerospace defense side, this company makes basically some kind of fabrication. From what I could see and understand, they make these fabrication of the airplane cockpit for simulators. They work with, I think, HAL and a couple of other organizations. They want to do a lot more critical machine components for this aero and defense, but at least from what I can see, that's not yet, they've certainly not generated any revenue from it. They have a small order book. If you see their overall order book of about 370 crore, only about 15 crore is even this aero defense. And I think that is mostly this kind of simulator stuff. So there's still a long way for them to go to become a truly aero defense player. And anyway, that is a long gestation game. So you have to give that company time to, establish itself and execute. Now, obviously, because the majority of their business today is dealing with the railways and or these railway, these private companies that work for the railways, the working capital requirements are very high, which is why they are raising their funds. Majority of it is to fund working capital. They're also paying off a small amount of debt, I think some 6-7 crore. They're also putting some 12-13 crore into some machinery. But majority of the money is just for working capital. Their numbers look really good. They've been growing, especially last year, they grew very well. I think from 120 to 190 crore, with very strong PAT growth, almost 100%, I think around 25 crore PAT. They're saying that they will continue to grow for the next year. There's one interview where he says that for the next 3 years, they will continue to grow at 60 to 70%, which I'm sure the market will like. Their order book is 370 crore, but there's another 1500 crore that they're bidding for or they've bidded for, which they say they have, typically a 25-30% win rate. So that's information that will come in the next 1.5 months that, of course, the market will also trade on. One thing, though, is that their balance sheet is very heavy. They have very high receivables. Again, it's nothing very unusual for the segment, but just to know that obviously working capital will always be a requirement for such a company. They have almost 200 days of receivables, and it's unlikely that will ever reduce. There are a lot of names in the pre-IPO, a lot of retail names as well, and a few sort of well-known folks as well. You guys can go and have a look. The anchor book was interesting in that it mimicked FlySBS. It was all Rajasthan Global LRSD, which is the same people, and their, can say, distribution or whatever, it looked very similar to the FlySBS anchor book with, one HDFC Bank thrown in. It's very funny that somehow HDFC Bank manages to get into all of these. The most valuable company in India will add another 2 crore of PAT this quarter thanks to flipping Airfloa. It seems very silly. But anyway, this company is coming at just 13x, which is obviously very cheap. Very, very similar to FlySBS again. Clearly looking at the interest in the grey market, this is something that will list at 90. Now I was joking, I think a couple of days back that you basically chase this till the first time the circuit opens and then dump it the second time the circuit opens. Let's see what happens. I don't think there's too much more to cover. This company is very, very popular. Most of what you'll have to do will just be based on the screen. And for people who want to, hold this for long term, at least the company is speaking the right things. They're saying that they have, the motivation to grow very fast, 60-70% for the next 3 years. They're getting into more and more complex things, though I don't think they are doing very complex things today. They're definitely moving in that direction over time. So can be a decent bet if people want to, track this company for the long term. I think there will be crazy amount of trading, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I think at least my, actions will be heavily influenced by what the screen says.
Someone seems very salty that HDFC seems to somehow get in all these IPOs, right?
Somehow they do. Somehow they do. There'll be a bunch of names and one HDFC Bank that will stick out like a sore thumb. And I've never seen HDFC Bank in a shareholding pattern when the shareholding pattern comes out. Although, of course, in this case, 1 crore allotment is too small to show up. But even in the cases where they had an allocation that was large enough to show up in the shareholding pattern, they are never there. So I think they are the ultimate flipper.
It makes sense, no, because they have some treasury guidelines to exit within a few days, right, or something like that, because it's a bank end of the day, right? So, but yeah, having said that, maybe not going into that direction because it's a completely futile discussion in terms of like the anchor book. I'll tell you my view. I've been following this company slightly closely in this sector because I was looking at a couple of companies. I really like the sector as such because there is enormous amount of money which can come up through modernization of trains, etc. So some of the players can lead to a lot of money in the long term, but cash flows are some things which need to be tracked. I had some issues with respect to the cash flows of the company, so that is something which seemed off to me. But again, market doesn't seem to care. Market will give it whatever pop that it will give it. It will continue to rise. I will also stand in line and then we'll see. That is with respect to my review. My question to you, I am seeing two questions. One I understand, which is like what happened between FY23 to FY24. Like why is the essentially margin being exploded? Anything which he covered in the interviews with respect to that?
Yeah, he
And
mentioned it. He
second,
said it
and
was,
second
yeah, so
more
okay,
question with
completed.
respect to long gestation projects being managed by a subsidiary. Is that 100% subsidiary of the company? Anything on that part? I'm not 100% sure I understand that question.
Yeah, again, these are both things that were covered in the interview. So margins, he says it is because they did a lot of, firstly, they started focusing on higher margin projects, which is the thing everyone says. And yeah, I mean, no reason to not believe him. It's clearly visible. They just said that they went from bidding for 300 tenders and getting any tender they could to selectively bidding for a few tenders and, going after tenders where they could make money. The second is he said because of COVID, there was a lot of cost control in general that the company had to bring to sustain and survive through that time. And that led to them reducing a lot of people over the next 2-3, not just like during COVID, but just over the next few years, they did a lot of general rationalization. So that is the reasons he has given for expanding margins over the last couple of years. Second question was on the long lead time. I believe it is a fully, it's 100% subsidiary. I'll double check that. But basically the idea is that the core business today, which is the railway, component business, that is in this standalone entity. And all the futuristic kind of projects that they want to do, they've set up this defense subsidiary, which is mostly in a slightly different segment, like defense and aero, and not railways. So they set up a separate subsidiary. And anyway, that segment is a just long gestation period kind of segment. It takes years to actually set up and start delivering defense at any scale. It takes a lot of time. So they've just tried to carve these out separately because that will require its own funds, its own working capital, etc., rather than combining them into the same entity and becoming a hodgepodge. So I think that is just fair practice. What they're doing is the right thing to do.
Understood. Thank you, Rohit. So again, not a lot of debate. All we need to do is to apply the IPO and somehow hope to get lucky. That is with respect to Airfloa. I would probably and we'll see. I don't think there's any we just need to apply. And then there's one question with respect to how to apply, how to attend these SME IPO interview roadshows. There are a lot of promoters who right now do YouTube videos, etc. So you can listen to a couple of them. One which we'll be covering today, Techdefence. We also hosted Sunny Waghela for an interview. So you can listen to that on our YouTube channel. The link is in the pinned comments. somehow it is a very good integration. Instead of me bringing up this, it kind of fit through that. But yeah, having said that, let's probably move forward to the fourth company, which is VMS TMT. Third company, which is VMS TMT. Before that, I see there's one question with respect to LT elevators. Unfortunately, we won't be able to cover LT today because we have a conflict of interest there, but we'll probably cover it after listing once we are allowed to cover that. With that, maybe going back to VMS TMT. Incorporated in 2013, the company is primarily engaged in the manufacturing of TMT bars. It also deals in scrap and binding wires, which are sold within Gujarat and other states. Setting up the IPO, it's a 150 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. The market cap is 491 crores. So 150 crores raise कर रही company 491 पे, so around 30% का dilution है. Mainboard IPO है. रेवेन्यू की बात करूं FY25 की तो 771 करोड़ का टॉप लाइन है, पैट 15 करोड़ का है. टीएमटी बास वगैरह का ट्रेड करते हैं, राइट? सो एक्सपेक्टेड टू हैव अ वेरी लो पैट मार्जिन, 2% पैट मार्जिन है कंपनी का. 15 करोड़ पे 491 के मार्केट कैप पे आ रही है, सो सुपर एक्सपेंसिव. 33-34 के पीई पे आ रही है. विल ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई दैट इज. In terms of the LM is Arihant Capital. Oh, good to see Arihant after Smarten. I think Smarten was their last issue, right? So Tanmay, over to you to talk about VMS TMT.
Am I audible?
Yep.
So VMS TMT Limited is a thermostatically treated bars TMT bars manufacturer and also generates some revenue from sale of allied products like billets, binding wires, and scrap. So the company has a retail agreement with Kamdhenu Limited, where the company can make its products and sell and market its products under Kamdhenu brand in the state of Gujarat, except Saurashtra and Kutch. So, like, मतलब उन्होंने एक स्टेट बनाया, उसमें से भी मान लो सौराष्ट्र विच इज अ बिग रीजन इनटू गुजरात, वो निकाल लो और कच्छ डिस्ट्रिक्ट निकाल लो, तो बाकी के रीजन वो कामधेनु के नाम से टीएमटी बार बेच सकते हैं. The company has got 3 distributors and 227 dealers, and none of them are exclusive dealers. ठीक है. In September 24, the company did a backward integration. So in that, the thing was simple कि जो TMT बार आप billets को लेके बना रहे थे, वो आप scrap से भी बना सकते हो. That was what backward integration they have done. That would ideally save some margins in some what we can say जब कोई efficiencies आ जाएगी. The company has got a capacity of 2 lakh metric ton per annum. The company is raising 148.5 crores, completely a fresh issue, out of which 115 crores will be going towards repayment of debt and the rest 33.5 crores towards general corporate purposes. So कंपनी के बुक्स पे टोटल 310 करोड़ का डेट है, ठीक है. सो द कंपनी हैड लाइक रफली 250 करोड़ एट द एंड ऑफ FY25, but in H1 they have increased Q1 they have increased their debt by another 60 crores. So investors need to take note of it कि अगर यहाँ से एक्स इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट बचेगा तो वो ड्यू टू इंक्रीज इन द डेट वो फिर से वो नॉक ऑफ कुछ नहीं होगा, उतना ही रहेगा इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट से. सेव तो एक्चुअली कुछ नहीं होने वाला. In FY23, the company did a revenue of 882 crores and PAT of 4.2 crores. EBITDA margin was 2.5% and PAT was 0.5% PAT margin. In FY24, the company did a revenue of 873 crores with 13.5 crore का PAT, 4.7% EBITDA. एंड टॉप लाइन में डीग्रोथ था बाय 1%. सो अभी मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि पैट मार्जिन इनका 0.5 से 1.5 क्यों हो गया. मे बी वो बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन किया होगा, मे बी फॉर दैट रीजन. FY25, the company did a revenue of 771 crores and a PAT of 14.7 crores. EBITDA margin 4.7 का 5.9 हो गया और revenue 12% से कम हो गया. And PAT margin grew from 1.5 to almost like close to 2 point something, 2% types का margin है. And positively surprisingly कंपनी ने Q1 का भी नंबर दिया हुआ है. The company did a 212 crore का revenue with PAT of 8.6 crores. पता नहीं ये PAT EBITDA इनका 5.9 से 9.2% कैसे होगा और PAT 1.9 का 4%. कुछ तो जादू किया है इन्होंने Q1 में, maybe for that reason it should be ideally. मार्केट कैप 491 करोड़ है. सो FY25 में मोटा मोटी 33 के पी पे आ रहा है. Abhi, since the Q1 has been on a strong note as per the financials, if I just do the TTM of that, तो मोटा मोटी 14.3 के P पे आ रहा है. FY27 पे, if I reduce that much debt and I expect कि revenue will be on the same base, तो मोटा मोटी 11 times 27 पे आ रहा है. If I talk on the peer comparison, ये जिनके प्रोडक्ट मार्केट करते कामधेनु लिमिटेड, ओके, विच इज अ लिस्टेड कंपनी, दैट इज एट 12 पी, ठीक है, वो 61 करोड़ पैट पे है और 700 करोड़ का कुछ मार्केट कैप है उसका। इनका एक और पीयर है व्राज, बट व्राज इज अ फैंटास्टिक कंपनी, वो रायपुर का है, पूरा इंटीग्रेटेड है, एवरीथिंग इज इन प्लेस, दैट इज ट्रेडिंग एट 11 का पी। एंड बीएमडब्ल्यू इंडस्ट्रीज इज ट्रेडिंग एट 16 पी, बट देयर वाज रीजन बिहाइंड इट, दे रिसेंटली गॉट 1000 करोड़ का ऑर्डर, सो दैट स्टॉक हैड शॉट अप रिसेंटली। अभी एक छोटा इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट ये है कि एक साल पहले इनकी ग्रुप कंपनी का भी लिस्टिंग हुआ था वीएमएस के, दैट वाज आदित्य अल्ट्रा स्टील, हुज आईपीओ प्राइस वाज 62 एंड नाउ इट इज ट्रेडिंग एट कुछ 35 रुपीज पे ट्रेड कर रहा है, 23 रुपए का भी जर्नी देख के है वो स्टॉक। Company has got multiple cases, tax, criminal proceedings, other corporate matters, trade receivables अचानक से बढ़ गया, debt is more. LM is Aryan Capital. लास्ट 2-3 आईपीओ जो मुझे आउट ऑफ द माइंड याद आ रहा है, स्मार्टन किया, फिर बीच आई गेस 2023 में दैट एंड आरबीजे ज्वेलर्स व्हिच इज डूइंग डिसेंट। सो ओवरऑल लाइक मुझे समझ नहीं है कि कंपनी आईपीओ भी क्यों कर रही है, सो इट इज लाइक अ कंप्लीट अवॉइड फ्रॉम माय पार्ट। अगर मुझे अच्छी बात बोलनी है तो देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग, दैट वन ऑफ देयर प्रमोटर इज अ पॉलिटिशियन इन गुजरात, तो दैट इज अ गुड पॉइंट कि वहां पे कुछ हो जाए, वी हैव नो आइडिया। 99% रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम गुजरात, तो आई नो गुजरात इज इटसेल्फ इज अ बिग मार्केट, बट एंड ऑफ द डे कॉन्सेंट्रेशन है कामधुने के साथ, इनका कुछ ऊपर नीचे हो गया, होपफुली इट शुड नॉट बी हो गया तो, बट दैट वुड बी अ बिग रिस्क एंड लाइक there would be no other plan for the company because it is completely doing from that brand only। तो मुझे तो ये आईपीओ अप्लाई करने का सेंस नहीं जम रहा है, लाइक FY27 पे 11 के पी पे मैं इसको FY25 पे भी 11 का पी ना दूं, सो आई फील इट इज एंड एवरीवन इज गोइंग टू फॉरगेट दिस कंपनी आफ्टर 15 days ऑफ द लिस्टिंग, सब भूल जाएंगे, तो नाइदर लॉन्ग टर्म नाइदर शॉर्ट टर्म आई वोंट अप्लाई दिस टू इट्स आईपीओ। प्रीमियम कुछ दिख रहा है, आई एम नॉट श्योर इज इट सस्टेनेबल नॉट नॉट, इफ इट लाइक स्मॉल साइज है। एंड हाँ, वन मोर इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, 50% रिटेल है, हाँ पहले इसका क्यूआई भी 50 था, वो 30 कर दे, सीम्स एंकर बुक नहीं भरी इनकी, तो फॉर दैट रीजन माइट रिटेल might have gone to 50%। So on day one the selling will be tremendous, और जितना ग्रे में काम हो रहा है वो दिख रहा है कि एलसी पे भी ऑर्डर अच्छे खासे आएंगे, सो इट्स एन अवॉइड फ्रॉम माइंड। लिस्टिंग हो गया, सो इट इज जस्ट टेक द लिस्टिंग एंड फॉरगेट दिस काउंटर फॉर एवर, सो दैट्स ऑन फ्रॉम फॉर वीएमएस।
Understood. Thank you, Tanmay. Uh, like how you were saying कि FY 27 तेरा क्या FY 25 में तेरा ना मिले. But having said that, it is coming at what it is saying. Just one correction, I said the FY TTM it is at 13. It won't be at TTM, right? It would probably be at FY 26 annualized, right? तेरा पे TTM
हाँ
पे
हाँ,
नहीं है.
FY26 पे एनुअलाइज्ड आ रहा है 14.3 और 27 पे 11 टाइम आ रहा है। In
Correct.
case I
But
don't
again,
consider another revenue degrowth.
but which is doubtful, right? Like you can't say. So again, segment in itself, trading company, so needs to be forgotten. Like again, I hope the company does well, but I will not be applying. With that, let me move forward and quickly talk about fourth company. We are running on time. We want to hope to close by 10:30. So the fourth company we'll be talking about TechD CyberSecurity. Incorporated in 2017, the company provides a wide range of cybersecurity services, including MSSP solutions, cyber program management, BAPT and compliance services. So basically, cybersecurity की company है. Most famously known for Vijay Kedia doing an investment. The last company where Vijay Kedia had an investment was again a cybersecurity company by the name of Techdefence, which opened well and did pretty well after that as well. So this is also a cybersecurity company. Maybe not so much on the product side as much as on the services side, but we'll kind of understand when Sachin covers the company. Setting up the IPO, it's a 39 crore IPO. 39 crores का IPO है, out of which all of which is a fresh issue. The company is coming at a market cap of 144 crores. तो 39 पे 144 का रेज है. सो अगेन मिनिमम डाइल्यूशन जो है वही है. In terms of 28% dilution. In terms of the FY25 financials, 30 crores का top line है, 8.4 crores का bottom line है. So very healthy margins, 25% PAT margins. Maybe such a direct question for you would be, how are they able to generate 25% PAT margins on a services business? In terms of the LM is GYR Capital. So with that, before I hand it over to Sachin, just one more question. What I have done is I have just pasted the link of, we spoke with Sunny Waghela with a discussion on his company. I have pasted that link as well and it should be up in your space. So if you want, you can also go ahead and listen to the promoter's discussion at your own leisure in terms of his vision of the company. So with that, over to Sachin to discuss Techdefence cybersecurity.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right. So a lot of buzz is already there for this issue, but still I will do justice for the review. So this TechD came as a cyber security company in 2017, but the idea for such a company was already put in around 20 to 25 years back when Mr. Sunny, who is an ethical hacker himself, so he had that idea way back, and he mentions that he has already worked with some Gujarat crime branch. He has already worked on the 2611 case for the 2008 Ahmedabad serial blast case as well. So he has that exposure with him. Now to the business of this Techdefence, they are majorly a service-based organization where they use the products of their OEMs and they offer services to their clients. Now the services that they offer are broadly into three categories. One is this MSSP, Managed Service Security Services Provider. So MSSP क्या है कि let's say take an example कि एक ICICI बैंक है वो Techdefence को हायर कर लेता है, तो Techdefence के पास पूरा आईसीआईसी बैंक के पेमेंट सिस्टम को मॉनिटर करना, उसमें बग्स के लिए देखना, उसमें ब्रीचेस के लिए देखना, सिक्योरिटी अटैक्स के लिए देखना वगैरह वगैरह, वो टेक डिफेंस का काम है. अनदर सर्विसेज इज वल्नरेबिलिटी असेसमेंट. टेकिंग दैट सिमिलर एग्जांपल ऑफ आईसीआईसी बैंक, वल्नरेबिलिटी असेसमेंट इज लाइक दे इन दिस, इसमें क्या होता है कि जो टेक डिफेंस है वो सिमुलेटेड अटैक सिचुएशंस क्रिएट करता है कि जो भी मतलब गैप्स हैं सिस्टम में, आईसीआईसी बैंक के सिस्टम में है या कोई भी और रिटेल चेन है, तो उसमें जो भी गैप्स हैं दे कैन फिक्स दोस गैप्स इन एडवांस. एंड द थर्ड सर्विस दैट दिस टेक डिफेंस प्रोवाइड्स इज सिक्योरिटी ऑपरेशन सेंटर्स. So what this security operation center is, it is like a 24/7 monitoring center. So it monitors unauthorized access and some unauthorized logins to some systems as well. This all of these three services covers around 80 to 85% of the revenues, and the rest revenues comes from compliance support for this cybersecurity guidelines, and in part they also do staff augmentation for the clients, where they deploy the employees of Techdefence at the client's place, which is needed at times when the client wants the services as well as the employees at their end. And they also do some product licensing as well, and that covers around 8 to 10% of their revenues, but they always offer services as part of that contract. This Techdefence also has 9 university collaborations, but they also generate revenue from cybersecurity certifications. And what this also means that they get a huge talent pipeline from these universities, which this company uses for in-house projects as well, and they also outsource this talent to other companies. Now for the margins thing, why it has been growing year on year is that they have increased their client base by a lot. So they have now over 450 to 500 customers for such a small revenue base, which is given that push to margin in the recent years. Now most of these customers are from BFSI sector, because that sector is largely regulated as well, and there are many board members on this Techdefence company's board. So these board members are having good experience in the BFSI sector as well. So that helps them get more clients from this sector. Also, they are having clients from manufacturing, healthcare, aviation, and government sectors as well. Now, some key clients are Adani Group, Zensa Technologies, Astral Pipes. We see Kedia Capital as well, which is being served by Techdefence. Now, revenue, as I told, it looks optically lower for per client, given that they have around 400 to 500 customers. But what they mentioned for this is that because they are now catering to more small and medium businesses, which have a limited budget for this cyber security, so that restricts the revenue per client, but it ensures that the clients are sticky and we get repeat business from these clients. Now coming to their financials, in FY23 they did 7.5 CR of revenues with 18% EBITDA. In FY24 it was 15 CR of revenues with 32% EBITDA, and in FY25 it again jumped to 29 CR of revenues with further improvement in EBITDA to 40% and near 25 to 26% of PAT. For FY26 they are targeting similar growth year on year for the top line as well as the bottom line. Some risks to this business is that the employees which are highly skilled in nature, so that need to be with the company. Attrition has been low, around 17 to 18% recently, and now they are also doing that captive employee generation from that university tie-up, so that will cater to this risk. The payment cycle for some clients, largely for the government clients, it seems stretched to some extent. So what now they are trying to do is not they will not wait for the compliance certificate from these companies. They will immediately go for the payment after, as soon as the services and the agreement is done with. So that will ensure that receivables are back into recovery in time. Also, if you see that the dependence on few clients is not a risk for this business, because the clients are repeating year on year with almost 90 to 95% of repeat business. Now, one thing which was asked repeatedly from Mr. Sunny was that why the product companies won't get into services and why Mr. Sunny is not doing product. So he said that it's more like an industry norm where the product companies don't go into services, and more the product companies largely require such services service companies like TechD. So there is no conflict of interest between both of these sets of cybersecurity. Also, for the IPOs, we see that Care Ratings has been appointed as monitoring agency, so that should ensure good IPO usage, IPO fund usage. Now, 26 CR is for out of the IPO proceeds is for paying salaries for around 87 to 88 employees. Now the employee expenses forms around 30 to 40% of the total expenses. So this will be spent over 2 years, and 5 CR is to be expected to be spent in FY26 and the rest in FY27. This will help to generate more business in India and as well as in overseas for markets like North America, USA, Middle East as well. The rest 6 crores is for setting up a new global security center. So this is like an experience center where this Techdefence and its employees give some hacking demonstrations, and they showcase some R&D stuff what they are doing in the cybersecurity. Also, this serves as a monitoring center for all of the services that they are providing. Now they're saying that they will this new Ahmedabad center, which will help them to cater to almost 2,000 plus more clients from the current 500 clients that they have, and they are expecting this center to be live by June 26. Now coming to the pricing, the pre-IPO was done in September 24, which was at 126 per share, and it includes Mr. KD, as everyone knows. There is Manish Nimani as well from Protect.ai, which is again a cybersecurity venture. And we see Mr. Ajay Bhaskar from 9 Alps, which is again Mr. KD's vertical. Now this IPO is at 193 per share, so around 17 to 18 times trailing, and possibly near 10 to 12 times forward on what they're projecting to do in FY26. For peers, they have shown Tech Infosec as their peer, which shares the same investor backing from Mr. Kedia. But Tech also has in good parts the product revenue, where they sell the product as well as they license the product to other companies. There is also one peer, Satrix, which was ignored at start, but now it is gaining traction when it has seen new developments and new order wins, and now that trades near 40 times, and this Tag Infosec trades more than 70 times. Also there was one there was one recent IPO of Meta Infotech as well. So Meta Infotech, I do not see a more comparable peer because they are just a reseller of this cybersecurity products, and it trades near 20 times. Lead manager here is Jivaya, very reputed. In anchors, we say 9 Alps, which has taken around 80% of the total anchor book, which is Mr. KD again. So for the final thing, this part, especially of the IT sector, the cybersecurity part has some clear tailwinds going on. We see new regulations for data protection. We also see that DPDP bill, which is likely to be passed soon. Also, we see that many of the organizations are now increasing the IT security budget, so that should help someone like Techdefence as well, which has some good backing and also some good experience from the promoters. So personally, we'll be applying this. That's all.
Got it. Thank you, Sachin. A question is how much of the revenue is from domestic versus exports? My understanding is all is domestic, but correct me if I'm wrong. And then I'll pick up.
Right now, most of the revenue is from domestic,
Okay.
but they will expand overseas as well.
Correct. Okay. And then the second question is, what is the difference between Meta and Meta and Tech InfoSec and Tech Defense? I'll probably try and attempt it at a very high level. Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, the lowest in the value chain is your Meta Infotech, which is just a reseller of these software products. Then you have slightly higher in the value chain, a services-based organization like Tech Defense, which is able to give you integrated solutions across all parts of the value chain. And then you have much above it a Tech Infosec, which would be a product-based company. That is how I'll kind of define it. I would think a comparable peer to Tech Defense would be Cetrix because it also does a lot of integrated security solutions per se. Is that correct? Is my understanding correct?
Nicely summarized. All correct.
Perfect. That covers the question as well. And I'm just seeing if there are any other questions. In the meanwhile, Tanmay, Rohit, do you guys have anything to add on TechD before we move to the final company for the day?
No, I think what you summarized was what I was also going to say.
I'm learning from the best. With that, let me move forward and talk about the one-fifth company for the day, Europratik. Setting up Europratik, incorporated in 2010, companies engaged in the business of decorative wall panels and decorative laminates industry as a seller and marketer of them. मेरे घर में यूरोप्रतीक के बहुत पैनल लगे हैं, right? So I was very excited, and Tanmay knows this, that whenever I had seen Europratik, it's a kind of a मोनोपोली लीडर इन इट सेगमेंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेकोरेटिव पैनल्स वगैरह जो लगते हैं हमारे विनियर वगैरह के साथ वो सब बनाती है कंपनी बट वैल्यूएशंस आर समथिंग्स व्हिच आर अ रियल कंसर्न सो प्रोडक्ट वाज गुड बट वील टॉक मोर अबाउट इट इन टर्म्स ऑफ द कंपनी इट्स ब्रिंगिंग आईपीओ ऑफ 450 करोड़ का आईपीओ ला रही है ऑल ऑफ विच इज अ ओएफएस कंप्लीट ओएफएस है कंपनी कुछ भी फ्रेश इशू नहीं रेस कर रही है मार्केट कैप 2500 करोड़ का है 25 so dilution of around close to 18%. In terms of the FY25 financials, revenue 292 crores hai, PAT 76 crores hai. So 76 crores पे 2500 crores पे IPO ला रही है. So the P is like 35 P, which is very high, especially for a trading business end of the day. In terms of the LM is excess and DM capital. So with that, over to Tanmay to talk about Europratik.
First of all, thanks for covering 20% of my review already. So
You're welcome.
Europe so Europratik Sales Limited. So नाम में ही sales है, okay. So the company sells and markets marketer of decorative wall panels and decorative laminates, and is one of the largest organized wall panel brand with a market share of 16%. Okay. I'll just give you the revenue breakup. Wall panel contributes to 66% of the revenue, and decorative laminate contributes to roughly 25.6%, and other is like 8.2%, which includes films and adhesives and some allied products. So it is a complete asset-light model. The company has got 36 contract manufacturers, which are in China, South Korea. So combined China plus South Korea is like 65 to 70%, and the rest from US, Turkey, Romania, Indonesia, and Portugal. So what the company does basically is the company publishes its own catalogs, designs the laminates, and then it asks its contract manufacturer as per the specialization of a specific contract manufacturer. Ki you make this designs for us. It imports and then sell it to the customers. So it is basically a marketing company which creates a market for XYZ product and then get the product sourced from somewhere others, and it sells to the customers via distributors. So the company has got its distribution in 116 cities via 180 distributors in 25 states and 5 union territories. The company has got 30 product catalogs with like 3,000 plus designs. The company also exports to 6 countries. Now it is most like it's 96% kind of revenue in India, and 4% may they have got 6 other countries. Company is raising 451 crores, 451.3 crores, completely an offer for sale. Promoters are selling their stake. In annual come on its financials. In FY23, the company did a revenue of 263.6 crores and a PAT of 59.6 crores. In FY24, the company did a revenue of 221.7 crores and PAT of 62.9 crores. So revenue has dropped by 16%, but PAT has increased by roughly like 5% type का PAT increase हुआ. So when it was asked to the management कि why your revenue has fallen in FY24, management had said that our focus was to reduce low margin products and increase high margin products. For that stance, we had compromised on our revenues, but we have seen inching up in our PAT. ठीक है. In FY25, the company bounced back and did a revenue of 284 crores and a PAT of 76.4 crores, which was a growth of 28% over FY24. So if I want to just summarize, FY23 से लेके FY24 में the growth has been like roughly 8%, 7.5% types का. But in FY25, the PAT margin was like 26-27% ballpark. Uh, Margins are, super good. And one of the finest margins I've seen in this industry. Company is coming at 2,524 crore ka market cap. So on FY23, it is at 33 times P. Now coming on its peer comparison. So I'll just do the two comparisons. First is shown as per RHP. तो आरएसपी में उन्होंने 4 peers दिखा है, उसमें से 3 पेंट कंपनीज है, लाइक एशियन पेंट, बर्जर पेंट्स एंड इंडिगो पेंट्स दिखा है, which are trading at like obscene valuations, we all know. And they have shown one competitor, Greenlam Industries, which is into your laminates वाला, थोड़ा ply वाई भी करता है. I know. But if I to just speak on the P of Greenlam, I'll just do one thing यार, मैं उसका कैश पैट ही निकालूंगा. Reason being, Euro Pratik has got like 4 crore का depreciation and that company has got like 40 crore का depreciation on the books. If I just talk on the cash pat, Greenlam trade कर रहा है 35-36 के P पे. But I feel there are two more companies which should be compared with this. So it was asked कि आपने एशियन पेंट्स वगैरह को क्यों दिखाए, तो दे हैड आंसर कि जो चीजें दीवार पे लगती वो हमारी पीयर हो गई. सो आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई रुशिल डेकोर और स्टाइलम आर नॉट देयर पीयर्स. आई एम नॉट जस्ट टेलिंग कि आप प्लाई की कंपनियों को दिखा दो, बट एटलीस्ट दीज कंपनीज कैन बी शोन एज अ पीयर. तो स्टाइलम इज ट्रेडिंग एट 24 का पी एंड रुशिल इज ट्रेडिंग एट 17-18 पी. द रीजन माइट बी इज लाइक फेयरली अंडरस्टूड कि अगर मैं मेरे 17-18 के पी कंपेटिटर्स को दिखाऊंगा तो मैं महंगा लगूंगा. सो दे हैव शोन ऑल द हाई पी कंपनीज व्हिच आई फेल्ट इज नॉट राइट. And paint companies like 35 से लेके 70 के पी में, paint companies get a good valuation. अभी मैं इसका थोड़ा बैलेंस शीट, कैश फ्लो और अगर पूरा आपका वर्किंग कैपिटल का देखूं तो वर्किंग कैपिटल डेज गॉट इंक्रीज्ड फ्रॉम आई गेस कुछ 130 डेज का 170 डेज हो गया. In FY25, inventory also increased from like 70 to 90. The reason they had given that in FY25 we had done some consolidation of the subsidiaries, but if you just look at FY24 का pro forma, they have consolidated, but उस time पे figures change नहीं हुई. So I feel they have factored in the changes in the working capital or inventory, whatever, maybe in FY25. So I'm not clear on that part, but it seems कि शायद FY24 में उसका impact आना चाहिए था जो नहीं आया है. बट फॉर FY26 द कंपनी हैज गाइडेड कि हमारा जो 170 दिन का वर्किंग कैपिटल है वो कम होके 120 से 140 हो जाए. दिस हैज बीन सेड ऑन एन इंटरव्यू. ठीक है, पब्लिकली अवेलेबल इंटरव्यू में दिया हुआ है वो. एंड आपका जो इन्वेंट्री रहेगा दैट शुड बी कंटिन्यूइंग एट 90 डेज ओनली. दे आर सेइंग कि हमारा जो पेएबल डेज होता है दैट इज लाइक 120 डेज. अगर हमारा इन्वेंट्री 90 दिन है तो वी डोंट सी इशू देयर, एंड आई अग्री टू इट. Now I'll come to one very important point which we should know. The company saw. Give me a minute. Hello. Huh. So the company saw fire in its largest warehouse, which was in Bhiwandi, in Q1 of this year, which saw a inventory losses of 33.6 crores. So इनका जो सबसे बड़ा warehouse था इसमें Q1 में आग लग गई है. ठीक है, और उससे इनका 33.6 करोड़ का लॉस हुआ है अभी. सो दिस वाज इंश्योर्ड. ठीक है, बट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड सम डायनामिक्स रिलेटेड टू इट. तो द कंपनी हैड रिसीव्ड जीएसटी क्रेडिट ऑफ 6.5 करोड़ जो उनको मिल चुका था, विच दे हैव टू नाउ गिव बैक. सो वो Q1 के पीएनएल में दिखेगा. और आपका जो इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी था उस पे 5% डिडक्टेबल था ऑन द इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, तो उस पे 1.5 करोड़ का और 2 महीने का बिजनेस लॉस हुआ है. ठीक है, तो आपका अप्रैल और मई में इनका जो ऑपरेशंस था दैट वाज सीवियरली अफेक्टेड. इफ यू जस्ट लुक एट लाइक 33.6 करोड़ एंड इफ यू जस्ट एक्स्ट्रापोलेट, तो मान लो कि 30 शायद उनका 40% टाइप का जो था वो एक ही वेयर हाउस में था. सो इनका 2 months हैज बीन ऑन अ वीकर नोट. एंड इफ आई जस्ट लुक एट Q1, उसके अंदर आपका इट इज फॉर श्योर कि आपका रेवेन्यू बहुत घट के आएगा. एंड आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग कि जो इनका साल का कुछ 76 करोड़ का पैट है, सो फिर Q1 में लाइक कुछ हाइपोथेटिकली 15 से 20 आना चाहिए था, वो शायद 1 to 5 करोड़ के बीच में ही आएगा, विच इज माई हाइपोथेसिस. आई कैन बी श्योर लॉन्ग रिजल्ट में वो दिख जाएगा. आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग लाइक लो सिंगल डिजिट 2 3 4 6 4, नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग मोर देन 5. तो 1 से 5 करोड़ के बीच में का पैट आएगा, रेवेन्यू घट के आएगा, मार्जिन बहुत ज्यादा घट के आएंगे. द रीजन इज सिंपल, द वेयर हाउस सॉ फायर. सो वी नीड टू नो कि इनका Q1 खराब आने वाला है, और ये सबको जनता को प्रॉपर से लाइक आई एम टेलिंग कि Q1 खराब ही आना है. सो यू नीड टू हैव द माइंड ऑफ होल्डिंग दिस स्टॉक फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म. इन केस लाइक आपको अगर लॉन्ग टर्म लगता है, यू शुड नो कि इनका Q1 खराब आ रहा है. और अगर मैं देखूं तो इनका एक लिस्टेड कंपनी भी था ऑलरेडी, प्रतीक पैनल्स करके, ठीक है, विच दे सोल्ड इन 2022, जो 15 साल से एकदम ही जीरो बिजनेस पे था. ठीक है, सो दैट इज कंपनी. और सेबी ने इन पे कुछ तो नोटिस वोटिस भी दिए, कुछ तो एक्विजिशन ऑफ द एंटिटी में कुछ तो लैप्सेस. दैट इज आई फील कुछ रेगुलेटरी या फिर कुछ क्लेरिकल लैप्सेस. आई हैव नो आइडिया ऑन दैट. मैंने बहुत डेप्थ में पढ़ने का ठीक नहीं समझा, क्योंकि बहुत छोटा क्लेम था. बट देयर वाज अ सेबी शो कॉज नोटिस टू देम. और एक चीज है कि ये जो यूरोप प्रतीक का ब्रांड है, विच इज नॉट इन द नेम ऑफ द कंपनी, विच इज इन द नेम ऑफ द प्रमोटर. बट गुड थिंग हियर इज कि प्रमोटर ने कुछ आई गेस 1 लाख रुपए का कुछ तो चार्ज किया, विच वॉज इन 2023. दैट वाज वन टाइम. द कंपनी डज नॉट पे एनी रॉयल्टी टू इट और एनी राइट्स टू इट, विच इज अ गुड थिंग. सो इसमें निगेटिव कुछ नहीं, बट जस्ट टू टेल आई हैव टोल्ड. और एक इनका है कि इनका ट्रेड रिसीवेबल FY25 में 44 करोड़ का बढ़ के 96 करोड़ हो गया, विच इज इनसेन. वन माइट टेल कि इनका रिसीवेबल वर्किंग कैपिटल का डेटा बड़ा है, अग्री टू इट. बट डबल से ज्यादा हो जाना, विच इज लाइक 1/3 ऑफ योर रेवेन्यू, मुझे नहीं समझता. So this is all. So I'll give my view, like positive negatives में बताऊंगा. First, brand is very strong. They have they have got like from 3 years, Hrithik Roshan has been their brand as ambassador, and they have recently signed Kareena Kapoor. So this company is your Gucci and Louis Vuitton of the wall panels and laminates. ठीक है. So they have got a premium positioning. The second thing is they own 16% market share in a new. So I'll tell you, I'll summarize this company for you. So this is a fast fashion company in your laminates, and a premium fast fashion. It's like Zara, more proper if I want to compare. So Zara of your laminates. So the fast fashion में क्या होता है? You are able to charge that premium, which is seen in the margins. Man, 27% PAT is no joke, and it should be appreciated for sure. Third thing is like it is a small industry. द कंपनी कुछ 284 करोड़ कर रहा है, और अगर 16% मार्केट है तो मोटा मोटी 1700-1800 करोड़ टाइप का इंडस्ट्री होना चाहिए. ये एक पॉजिटिव है कि लाइक इतने छोटी इंडस्ट्री विच इज ग्रोइंग एट 16 to 18% के अगर इंडस्ट्री एस्टिमेट दिया हुआ है इनका, विच इज अ सॉलिड ग्रोथ, विच इज लाइक ऑलमोस्ट डबल ऑफ द GDP growth. Promoters are young in the sense not very old. They are like I guess 45-50 के बीच में के promoters, so they have got good runway to prove themselves. उसके बाद एसेट लाइट मॉडल है, वर्किंग कैपिटल कम लगता है. सो द डेज आर स्ट्रेंथी, बट उनका पेमेंट भी थोड़ा लेंदी, लाइक 4-5 महीने बाद वो पेमेंट करते हैं अपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को. सो वो उतना नॉक ऑफ हो जाता है. तो द कंपनी इज कैश जनरेटिव. द कंपनी जनरेट्स है कि 4 करोड़ पर मंथ, मतलब मोटा मोटी 40 से 50 करोड़ पर ईयर का कैश जनरेट करते हैं, विच इज गुड थिंग. निगेटिव्स पे आऊं तो FY25 में थोड़ा बैलेंस शीट, कैश फ्लो वो सब हिला हुआ है, और बहुत अच्छे से हिला हुआ है. वी डोंट नो हाउ द थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू बी इन FY26. सेकंड इज योर वेयर हाउस. इट इज no one wants fire in their warehouse, but end of the day we are investors, we should need to look at the biggest risk, and I feel this is the biggest risk. Third is a small risk, which is your all the small litigation से थोड़ा बहुत टैक्स का पड़ा है, वो छोटा सा शो कॉस्ट नोटिस था, बस दैट इज लाइक अ माइनर नेगेटिव. One more negative I see here is ki why cannot your Greenlam or Asian Paints or these guys enter this market? It is not easy to enter, I know it, but the day your industry goes beyond 3,000-4,000 crores, these guys are going to enter, because they just want a lever of growth. These guys don't have any growth. They want some industry where they can enter and they can eat the market share. और वही है. फिर वैल्यूएशन मेरे को इनका नहीं समझा. However good it might be, but मेरे को 33p नहीं समझ आ रहा है, and I'm like almost damn sure कि ये नीचे मिल जाएगा IPO प्राइस के. रीजन भी इसका Q1 खराब आना है. सो ऑल नो इंस्टीट्यूशन, like very fewer institutions are going to take interest ऑन लिस्टिंग और पोस्ट लिस्टिंग. रीजन उनको पता है Q1 में मेरे को नीचे मिल जाने की रिजल्ट बहुत खराब आना है, एंड एवरीवन ऑफ अस नोज दिस. एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ दोज कंपनीज जिनको शायद एक महीने बाद सब भूल जाएंगे, यू नो. लाइक आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन आई सॉ दिस कंपनी, आई रिमेम्बर ऑफ द स्टैनले लाइफस्टाइल्स. द हाइप वाज वेरी लार्ज कि भाई ये कंपनी है सोफा में, दे आर दिस दैट, बट नो वन नाउ रिमेम्बर्स ऑल्सो व्हाट इज स्टैनले. अब इस आईपीओ प्राइस से 30% ऊपर गए, आईपीओ प्राइस से 20 से 30% नीचे है, ऐसा कुछ तो चल रहा है. सो आई फील आई वोंट कंसिडर दिस कंपनी फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म एट दिस पॉइंट. शायद में Q1 के बाद जो कॉन कॉल होगा, आई फील दैट इज द मोस्ट क्रिटिकल थिंग an investor should know in case he intends to invest or he likes the company and the segment. Q1 ka con call is going to be very, very important. And before that, I feel one should not invest as per my knowledge. Listing in, I don't see any scope, genuine scope of listing in. If there is some market frenzy, reason being, कोई और आईपीओ नहीं है, मतलब मेन बोर्ड लेवल पे वीएमएस वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्पोकन वेल. सो आई फील इट माइट गेट गुड सब्सक्रिप्शन, ऊपर खुल जाए, आई एम हैप्पी फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस, रीजनिंग विल मेक सम मनी आउट ऑफ इट. बट फ्रैंकली फंडामेंटली मेरे को स्कोप नहीं दिख रहा है. आई रिसर्च मोर एंड आई पुट माई वर्डिक्ट, बट मोस्टली इट इज नॉट अ हार्श अवॉइड और अवॉइड, बट ऐसा मजा नहीं आया यार, यू नो. वैल्यूएशन में कोई सस्ता नहीं है. आई टेल यू वन मोर थिंग, इनका पहले आईपीओ 650 करोड़ का था, अभी 450. वन माइट थिंक यार वैल्यूएशन भी कम करे होंगे, बट पहले भी वैल्यूएशन 2600 था, अभी 2550 है, तो फर्क कुछ पड़ा नहीं वैल्यूएशन में, खाली उन्होंने डाइल्यूशन कम किया है. सो वैल्यूएशन इसका सस्ता हो सकता था. लाइक आई फील ये 20 से 25 के पीई पे ही आना चाहिए था. हाउएवर गुड द ब्रांड एंड मार्जिन्स आर, the ratios are, but end of the day you are a trading company, you are a value added trading company, you are not a manufacturer. So I feel it is not a bad company, but neither a super good company. Price isn't very comfortable, fundamentals aren't very comfortable. Q1 will be bad, every one of us knows here. So Q1 के कॉन कॉल पे we can make a decision कि इसको क्या करना है. लिस्टिंग गेन्स we will think at a later part, but as per me अभी आज के हिसाब से तो मुझे नहीं दिख रहे हैं, और होंगे भी तो एक सिंगल डिजिट. That's all for Euro Pratik sales. And one more thing is, for whole FY26, I don't see the growth exceeding 12%. 10 to 12% के ऊपर मेरे को साल का growth नहीं दिख रहा है. Where industry is growing at 16 to 18%. So, and FY27 पे again there are all these questions and answers. So, I'm little cautious. It's not a bad company. It's a good company, but at a bad price. And शायद IPO उन्होंने अगले साल लाना चाहिए. Is what my view is overall on this company.
गॉट इट, थैंक्स सर. मैं एक क्वेश्चन है यार, बहुत ही नाइस क्वेश्चन है. ये इंडस्ट्री कितनी बड़ी है जो डेकोरेटिव लेमिनेट्स की है? बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी नीश प्रोडक्ट, राइट? कुछ ही आर्किटेक्ट
ऑर्गेनाइज
लगवाते हैं.
1600-1700 करोड़ का इंडस्ट्री है.
तो इस पे बस 15% ही मार्केट शेयर है, तो बाकी किस
16% है. हाँ हाँ, आई फील थोड़ा ज्यादा 1800 करोड़ का टाइप का है उनका. 18% मार्केट, ऐसा कुछ तो फिगर है वो.
तो इसमें और किस पे है? क्योंकि यही है जो दिखता है सब जगह, और कुछ तो दिखता ही नहीं है. यूरो प्रतीक ही है, मेरे को लगा ये मोनोपोली
एक
टाइप का.
मिनट, मुझे इफ यू गिव मी 2 मिनट्स आई कैन गेट यू द नेम, बिकॉज आई नो ये मैंने एक्चुअली सेव करके रखा है. जस्ट नीड टू फाइंड इट आउट. गिव मी 2 मिनट्स.
You can find in the meanwhile, my read of the company is very similar. I really like the business as such, but I don't like the valuations. Plus, what I'm also concerned about is just the small TAM. कि अगर टैम बड़ा हो जाएगा और मार्केट लोगों को देखेगा, तो ये जो प्लाईबोर्ड वगैरह वाले प्लेयर्स है ना, वो इसमें एंटर कर जाएंगे. बिकॉज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एग्जैक्टली सेम है. जिससे अपन प्लाईबोर्ड खरीदते हैं, उसी से हम ये डेकोरेटिव पैनल्स खरीदते हैं, राइट? सो अभी यूरो प्रतीक का पैनल प्रोबेबली इसलिए भी लेते हैं लोग कि सेंचुरी प्लाई बनाता ही नहीं है डेकोरेटिव पैनल. तो अगर सेंचुरी प्लाई बनाने लगेगा तो प्रोबेबली मैं सेंचुरी का ही ले लूंगा, क्योंकि मैं प्लाई तो उसका ही ले रहा हूँ. प्लाई हमेशा पहले चाहिए होती है पैनल से. So that is my reasoning. I think this is a very niche kind of industry, but it's a very cash positive industry. And इनके margins are insane. I know Hrithik Roshan is their brand ambassador, and like panel में तुमको कोई भी book देखनी है, सिर्फ इनकी design पसंद आएगी, because they just have so many designs. It's more of like a Zara kind of system where they keep changing their designs and rotating their designs so fast that they have built a good system around it, definitely. And अगर company 300 CR का top line कर रही है ना, तो वो सिस्टम तो बनाए होंगे उनने. So definitely excited about that part, but not going to consider at these valuations, especially considering these valuations will make look even more stretchy after the IPO. The IPO is timed to perfection for promoters to get as much exit as possible, I feel. So would be avoiding right now, but would come back in future maybe if I have more clarity, because this guy can also enter plyboards, etc. So again वो कौन कौन से समझते हैं कि विजन क्या है कंपनी का, उस हिसाब से सोचेंगे. बट या वो टू इट.
हाँ, सो यहाँ पे दो पेयर्स दिख रहे हैं मुझे जो आई फील कंपेरेबल है. वन इज विवरे पैनल्स करके VIV आ रही है, एंड वन इज मेराकी लैमिनेट्स. एंड देयर इज वन मोर स्टेटमेंट कि बर्जर पेंट्स इज आल्सो आइंग एक्सपेंशन इन दिस, बट अभी तक उस पर बहुत ज्यादा डेटा अवेलेबल नहीं है.
Understood. I have only heard of these guys like Euro Pratik.
You had went to the premium shop यार, आप थोड़ा -1 पे आओ. So you might know these guys also.
Yeah, maybe. Although I'm like, ठीक है. No worries. Having said that, this is with that we'll close today's space. We have covered all 5 companies. Next week should be interesting. There should be a lot of IPOs. I feel अभी तक कुछ भी आया नहीं है. सच एक दो कंपनियां आई हैं which have announced their IPO, but majorly there are a lot more IPOs which would be announced. So next week should be interesting. We'll come back with September 4th week of IPOs. Till then, take care and take care of
I'll just
yourself.
tell for the next week. Ideally, there should be 6 mainboard IPOs and I guess 6 to 8 SMEs. From that, one SME should be a triple digit raise and like two should be 50 plus and rest should be 0 to 50. Mainboards में 3 बड़े होने चाहिए, 2 मीडियम होने चाहिए, 1 छोटा होना चाहिए.
Got it. We'll come back once we have more clarity. Looking forward to reviewing of quite few number of raises. We'll see how we want to divide it. But we'll cover most of them again. With that, thank you so much everyone for joining. We'll see you back next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.